contemplate the workings of the inner being. Your eyes are wide open, but are you really seeing? Welcome back.
Welcome back
to Mentor in the Mirror. And we're going to talk about pain. Pain. My name is Cole.
My name is Ta.
And we are Ta Cole, just to trick you a little bit there. And something that is rampant, not only in Western culture, but especially in the self-development, self-exploration field, is pain is a teacher, and how much pain can teach an individual. And this is a problem, because it's one thing to have pain as a teacher, but people are taking pain on as their mentor.
Yeah, and it's not a very fun mentor. Pain is a signal, and it signals that something is seriously wrong, something is off, something is fractured or broken, or something is in jeopardy. And for that to be your teacher all the time is dangerous.
Well, that's the essence we talk about with the transformation trap. Tirelessly repeating a painful process for the purpose of transformation, and it becomes a habitual pattern of the body. So even as it relates to, like we just did the podcast on marriages, and people saying marriage is hard, it's like there's some attachment to, if I don't suffer enough, the outcome isn't going to be worth it. Like I have to earn the right to deserve something amazing, so I can't have that without pain.
Well, there's a misappropriation of words. Discomfort, I think, is the thing that triggers the body or the physiology or the whole organism to change. When you're uncomfortable, your body changes so that discomfort is not there the next time or the times down the road. But pain is a signal that something is wrong, that something has gone awry, that maybe you've been burned, or maybe somebody is threatening your identity or threatening you as an individual. Whatever it is, there's a pain there, and the pain is telling you to stop whatever you're doing and do something else so that you can heal, because you have now been injured. And the injury doesn't have to just be a physical injury. It's an emotional injury. It's an injury to your mind. It's an injury to your concepts of yourself. And when that's the only teacher you have, you're constantly in a space where you have to heal in order to change into something else. And the scarring is always going to be there. And are you looking to heal with scarring and all of this stuff? Or are you looking to have some discomfort and then let your body change so that it's more resilient? There's a difference. And this is something that we used to teach people when we were doing personal training.
Yeah, true.
It's, lean into the discomfort. If it starts to become pain, back off. You're not, that no pain, no gain thing is just, it's not functional.
Yeah, it actually creates a physiological habit in your body to seek out pain, to learn from it. So that might be car accidents, or, I feel like in the three energies of evolution between the snake, puma, condor, there's these body set shifts that you go through. So when you first wake up to the fact that you are participating in systems or constructs that don't serve you, that's kind of like that initial discomfort, right? And that hurts. And we find gratitude for things that have happened in the past that may have been painful, because it made us who we are, it got us to where we are. And then I feel like quite often there becomes an attachment to that transformational process of going, oh, I'm grateful for pain, so that means pain is good. Pain is significant for me because I'll be able to use that as a part of my story. And as entrepreneurs, a lot of people get to use it for content.
Yeah, they get to use it for content. Plenty of people use pain for content, and we live in a society that is governed by a lot of victimization. It's cool to be a victim. It's not cool to be the person who's making people victims. It's cool to be the victim. And it's kind of cool because now you have a story and you have things that people can be on your side, and you have empathy and sympathy and all of these things. When you get hurt, when you are in pain, people will empathize or empathize with you or sympathize for you. And it's a space of empowerment. Victimhood is a space of empowerment. And many people do not see that. it is a space where people derive power. It's power over the perception of others, that they need to look after you or feel sorry for you or give you energy or significance. And when we see that in a space of having to be hurt all the time in order to transform, it's using the power of victimhood.
And there's almost this false creation that, well, no, it's not that I got hurt, it's that I survived hurt. So it's almost like I'm not a victim, I am a survivor. And so I'm going to perpetuate surviving things to ensure that I have the significance of being strong because I have overcome so much. And I mean, this is something that I caught myself in for a long time because I have been through a lot, that I received accolades. I mean, I got a day of recognition from the state of Utah because of my story and how my story impacted the youth of Utah. So what ended up happening is I took off like the badge of victim. I took off that outfit and I put on the nicer suit jacket of survivor and was walking through town like, hi, yeah, that was me. I survived. Isn't that impressive? Because I am an impressive individual. Look at how I turned out.
Yeah, and the survivor is a person who was victimized by something. Something happened to them, and I've had this conversation with a lot of people, and some people will beg to differ, and there'll be people who will listen to this who will beg to differ. I have been in the victim space, and I perpetrated that victim for a long time, and that's how I derived significance, was by being in pain all the time, and my body was aching, and I was in all of this horror space, and I wasn't really empowered in my being me. I was empowered in being a victim. And we can be empowered in multiple spaces, and there are spaces that of empowerment that aren't really the most, I would say, clean energy power spaces, man. And being a victim and claiming that space and being in pain all the time is not a clean space. I worked in ERs for 25 years with people coming in being victimized by other people, by themselves, by circumstances, by finances, by whatever. People are always claiming victim. And that's how they would get sympathy. They'd come to the ER. Oh, I'm in so much pain. I'm in more pain than that person. And it's the bigger victim, gets to the door first. That's
right.
That's the belief.
Well, I mean, that is how the hospital works, right? It's whoever's in the most pain gets seen the fastest.
Maybe. Depending on the hospital and the nurse at the door.
Well, but you know what I mean. It's still done by urgency. Mm-hmm. So it's like some people, if they can make it look more urgent. But anyway, it's when someone will hold on to the title of survivor, you're holding it in a present tense that you survived something, which is just another way of saying, like you said, of being victimized. So it's one thing to be like, yeah, I survived a lot of really crazy stuff. It's another to say, I am a survivor.
You are in a perpetual state of survival.
And I feel like that's what really called in more detrimental things for me to have to survive, was because I was a survivor. And if I wasn't a survivor, then who was I? Who was I if I actually let go or took that badge off, or even maybe I just hid it in my back pocket for a little while where no one could see it? But then who was I without all of the horrific things that had happened to me?
There is this romanticizing that people do with being hurt or being sick or having something happen. There is a romance with it. If somebody was to say, I'm a thriver, people would be like, what? What does that mean? Yeah, well, I thrive. It's boring. There's no story attached to it. There's no sadness. There's no hurt attached to it. There's no pain attached to it. So people get bored. And this is the thing. When we can shift the language of how we treat ourselves to I am thriving, there's a lot more ease to that.
Yes.
There's not a lot of romance to it, but there's a lot of ease to it.
Well, there's a huge battle between, just in general, especially right now with the coronavirus and all of that, there is a huge battle for the mind space, and now the mind space is even more deeply impacting the body space in what people are considering. Now, most people are walking around in fear of being victimized, right? They are already like in the precursor of victim, and all of these precaution, because you take precaution when there's a threat. You know what I mean? Like, versus if we were just eating healthy and clean all of the time, there wouldn't be a precaution. There would just be taking care of your body and fortifying your immune system because it's that time of year, because it should be taken care of all of the time. And it's now flipping into we are in a almost like global victimized state in this moment with a pandemic.
And people, from my vantage point, from my perspective, people are not looking to be in a space of ease. They're looking to avoid pain, and it's always the avoidance of pain, not leaning into being in a really chill space. It's avoiding pain. So I mean,
which creates pain, that's the oxymoron of it all.
This is the thing, and this is what's being sold. It's on our TVs. It's in our advertisements. Avoid this pain. Have this thing. Take these pills. Wear these clothes. Get this augmentation so that you could avoid the pain of being ugly. Whatever it is, it's the avoidance of pain, and it's the mainstay of our health industry. You're gonna get sick. You're gonna die. You need this health insurance, or something's going to happen to you. You need this flu shot or you're going to die. All of these things are to avoid pain.
Is it avoiding pain or avoiding death? Because I don't even know if people avoid pain. I feel like on one hand, people are driven for pain, by pain, with the idea that maybe they're avoiding another pain. So it's such an interesting like dichotomy / simultaneously already happening situation, because they don't want to lean into the discomfort while actively avoiding hell, but not necessarily in the pursuit of heaven.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it took a couple of seconds to register, but yeah, that makes plenty of sense. And it's, are you gonna continue to just dance around pain? And is pain going to be the thing that you
the way that you learn?
The way that you learn, and it's not the way that I want to learn. I stopped that shit, and since I stopped that, I've learned a lot more exponentially. I've transformed into some really miraculous stuff since I have stopped using pain as a barometer for my success in life. I stopped being the struggling artist, right? I got to struggle.
The struggling artist is a big one.
I got to be in pain.
Yep.
I have to have people rejecting me and making me feel like shit about my art in order for my art to be significant. Bullshit. All of these things are a bunch of bullshit. And I'm not knocking anybody's hustle. This is my perspective. And if you don't like it, well, send me a letter, man. Write me an email, put a comment.
Change the station.
I don't mind if you don't like it. I'd love to discuss it with you if you don't. Let's talk about it so that you could understand, maybe get some insight into my perspective, and I can get some insight into yours, and we can have a conversation over some grub or something. This is how I feel the world can change when we have these discussions.
Yeah, a lot of people fear losing their pain because they'll lose their art, or they'll lose the attention, or they'll lose that if they have a debilitating illness or chronic illness or, fibromyalgia, whatever, like I had, that if I had a fear that I didn't even know existed, that if I wasn't in pain, then there wouldn't be any reason for people to pay attention to me and love me and give me significance. And it was like I was in pain all the time. Pain was my best friend. Pain was the one thing that let me know that I was still alive. And I was actually afraid that if I let go of pain, would I still exist? Because pain had consumed so much of my life that it was like, but then who am I without it?
That's all you knew.
That's all I knew.
That's all you knew. And until you know something new, all you know is all you know. And
you're usually more willing to hold on to the pain that you have than the potential of what other pain there could be.
That is the truth.
I mean, that's a good thing to leave you to think about for now. Yeah. What is your relationship to pain?
Yeah, stand in front of the mirror.
Do you rely on pain as your mentor?
And look in the mirror and ask yourself, am I in pain? Am I using pain as a badge? Am I using it to have people love on me? To have attention? Am I using
to be taken care of?
To be taken care
of?
To
feel loved?
Or to fuel my business? Mm-hmm. Am I using pain to fuel my business? I was victimized, and pain is why you should have this.
And everyone looks up to me because of my story of survival.
And so we invite you to step into the mirror and ask yourself those questions and take a look around and see and just observe the people around you. Are they utilizing victimhood and being in pain as an empowerment situation? So, this is an invitation for you to explore. It's not something that we're telling you to do or not do. It's
something to consider.
Something to consider as everything. And if you like, or if you want to discuss this with a friend of yours, we highly recommend that you rate, review, subscribe, and share this with a friend
or 2 or 5 or whatever. We really appreciate when you take the time to reach out to us via Instagram, Facebook, whatever. And until next time, we love you so deeply.
So very much.
I said deeplessly. I said that in another episode. Deeply and endlessly. My name is Cole.
My name is Ta.
This is Mentor in the Mirror podcast. And until next time,
be free.